watch some TV.
Sure. Welcome to the Spaniard News. While you are watching today's report, please be sure to use #SpanishNews. Our top story today, the Spaniards have invaded another country in for silk, spices, and other goods. Let's go down to talk to the political strategist, George Johnson.
Thank you for having me. Glad you could be here, George. What do you think of the latest conquest by the Spanish? Good question. I think this decision was based on greed and only greed. Do you think this conquest will benefit them financially? No. By doing this, many of the citizens will be killed in battle. They already have lots of money, and they should not have done this.
I also agree. We would like to know your thoughts on Inquisition.
To me and many others, Inquisition was a horrible thing. To only have the choice of being a Christian, or thrown out of Spain, or to be sentenced to death. If you were caught not following a slight rule of Christianity, there will be punishments. Over thousands of people were killed from these laws.
Why do you think the governor enforced these laws?
When Queen Isabella and King Ferdinand came to power, Inquisition got worse. The reason I think the government enforced these rules is because they didn't like the idea of their citizens practicing religions other than their own. To me, which is a horrible idea.
Glad we could have you, George.
It was truly my pleasure. Thank you for having me on.
Now we have asked an Inca to come on to our show and give us the perspective of the Spaniards.
Hello. Well, I have some questions for you. How have the Spaniards treated you since they arrived in your area?
Very poorly. They have responded to our hospitality with disrespect.
As we have heard before, the Spaniards are a very greedy civilization. They also perform Inquisition and heresy. Have you noticed any threats or executions being made by the Spaniards so far?
Since they arrived, we have noticed the threat of the Spaniards wanting our religion to be turned into Christianity, and our land with all our goods to be theirs.
And how do you feel about this?
I feel extremely nervous about what these people may do to us. Anytime we greet someone with hospitality and are returned with threats, we know that something is wrong.
Knowing that the Spaniards are a very greedy and closed-minded civilization, what are your thoughts on Inquisition?
I think that a civilization that does not allow the freedom of religion is disturbing, but not surprising given how those people have acted towards us.
Do you think they need to be conquering any more land that they already have?
No, their empire is big enough. They have no reason to conquer the land of so many innocent people.
Well, thank you for coming, and we're happy to be able to interview you.
It was a pleasure to be here.
Really?
Let's flip to another channel.
Sounds good.
Welcome to Aztec News, where all the news on us is reported. Today we are off to the scenes of the latest Aztec news. Here we are standing at the edge of the courtroom. A man has just been tried for breaking the law. Let's hear what he thinks.
Yes, I have just been tried for breaking the law. Get this clear. I am not guilty.
And yet you left this courtroom guilty?
Indeed, going into court, I had not broken the law. And yet, when I left the court, I had broken the law.
So what exactly happened?
Because I was in the courtroom with the emperor. He has the power to make any law on the spot to make the accused guilty. That is what happened to me.
Very odd indeed, to make laws on the spot. Now we are off to the mighty pyramids. Me as a woman whose tremendous children have just been sacrificed to the great god Talat.
Indeed. I had 3 children, ages 5, 3, and 2 months. They were taken from me.
How has it been going with this loss of yours?
Well, I'm very sad, but I know that they have left me and my husband for a good reason, to bring rain to our land.
Were just your children sacrificed on the temple?
Oh no, over 40 children a year are sacrificed to Talat a year. This is in hopes of bringing rain to us.
And does it always work?
It's hard to tell.
After speaking with this person, we're off to the sports players. Next to the winner and the loser of a game called Patoli. Now tell me about this game.
Yes, I have just won a game called Patoli. Patoli is a game where players toss a colored cube in which shows the player where to move their beans. Each player has 3 beans, and the object is to have 3 beans in a row.
Fortunately, I have lost the game.
And what have you won?
Well, here's the tricky part. It depends on the people watching the game.
What do you mean?
Well, once a person has won, they are allowed to take the viewers' homes, cornfields, granaries, cactus plants, riches, families, and even children. Once some of those things were stolen from the people, they would have to become my slaves.
You could even steal people's children and families?
Indeed I could. Unfortunately, I had a bad group of viewers. Most of them ran away, so I could not take my rightful prizes.
And what exactly did you win?
Let's see. I got lots of jewelry, 2 cornfields. Oh yeah, and I got 1 kid. Not that good. I hope next time I win the prizes will be huge.
That sounds almost too extreme to be true. Now let's talk to the loser. Sir, what happens to you now that you've lost this game?
Sadly, today is the last day of my fresh life.
What do you mean?
Because I lost the game, so now I go to the top of the pyramid and be sacrificed to the gods.
Just because you've lost one simple match of a game?
You are correct.
What a shame. Tell me the details.
Well, I was the player to make the second move. My opponent made his winning move, and my next move was going to be my winning move.
So are you very sad?
Of course. Now, if you will excuse me, I have to go say goodbye to my cornfield.
And not your family?
Only if I have time. Fields are so much more important.
Do you have anything else to say?
Besides the fact that I'm going to parade out my new jewelry and boss my new kid around, no.
Well, I just have one more question.
Alright.
How do you feel that your losing opponent will be sacrificed tonight?
I will watch it with utter joy and happiness.
Today we have a special edition in the show. We are off to talk to the Emperor himself. Welcome, Emperor. Today will you tell us about the Aztec beginning of civilization?
Of course. When the Aztecs had just begun, there was another emperor who was marrying his daughter into the Aztecs. 5 men came to get his daughter, in which they were bringing her to the priest to get married. As the 5 men and the woman got closer to the temple, the men started gripping the woman tighter and tighter. They forced the woman to the top of the temple, where they threw her down on a bloody slab of stone. 4 of the 5 men each took a limb to hold down. The 5th man took out a knife. A second later, the man had gashed open the woman's chest and ripped out her heart.
That's horrifying. Did the Aztecs mean for this to happen?
Of course they did. My favorite part is when the man was holding the fresh heart still beating and dripping with blood.
That's terrible.
No, it's not. Now the story continues where later in the evening, the woman's father comes for a feast and finds the priest dancing on his daughter's skins.
That is terrible. Please tell no more. And what exactly happened to the Aztecs?
Well, sadly, it does not make sense to me, but we are forced to our home now on this island in the swamps. I must be going now.
Well, what a day of adventure and discuss. Join us in a few minutes on the Aztecs' world beliefs. Let me tell you in advance, they are none too nice or appealing to anyone.
Let's see what else is on.
Shop.
Hello, and welcome to Inca News. Today we'll be discussing arts, astronomy, and the landmass of the Inca civilization. Now on to Rigby, who will interview Professor Skoke. Rigby?
Standing here today with Professor Skoke. Professor Skoke, what do you have to say about the Inca arts?
The arts is a very strong part of the Inca civilization. The Inca had a lot of dances and instruments. Inca civilization had many flutes, drums, and tambourines.
So, Professor Skoke, how does having good dances and music contribute to the greatness of the Inca civilization?
I see. Having good music and dances contributes by having peaceful spirit throughout the empire.
What is one of the most commonly used instruments?
Probably the most used instrument is the wooden pan flute.
Are there any dances that the Inca performed?
Some of their dances were the snake and the wa-ya-ya.
Thank you for being on the show, Professor Skoke.
Anytime.
Our next guest on our show is Dr. Grace. So, Dr. Grace, what do you have to say about the astronomy in the Inca civilization?
Well, Incas have one of the most advanced ideas in astronomy in the entire world. We believe that the Earth goes around the Sun in 52 7-day weeks, which is 365 days.
How do you know that these facts are right?
The Incas have studied the Sun and the Earth's movements for a very long time. They have looked at them closely and figured out what the Earth does around the Sun.
How does having an advanced calendar help our civilization?
This helps our people have a set calendar that everyone can understand. Having 30-day months help people communicate schedules easier than trying to keep track of 52 7-day weeks.
We'll be back to discuss the landmass of the Inca civilization. Jordan, can you tell us, how big is the Inca civilization?
The Inca civilization is 300,000 square miles. If you look on the highlighted part of the map, it will show you how big the Incas were.
How many people live in the Inca Empire?
Over 1 million people lived in the Inca Empire.
How long did it take for the Inca Empire to grow so much?
Our civilization started 100 years ago. We started expanding at a rapid pace to reach this much land.
Thank you for your time, Jordan.
Thanks for having me on the show.
Back up to you, Rick.
Here today is our special guest, Jordan. So, Jordan, can you tell us, how big is the Inca civilization?
The Inca civilization is 300,000 square miles. If you look at the highlighted part of the map, it will show you how big the Incas were.
How many people lived in the Inca Empire?
Over 1 million people lived there.
How long did it take for the Inca Empire to grow so much?
Our civilization started 100 years ago. We started expanding at a rapid pace to reach this much land.
Thank you for your time, Jordan.
Thanks for having me on the show.
Wonderful news story, Jack. Up next on today's special, a guest, a person only few get to meet, an Inca priest himself.
Yes, thank you. Today I am here to further knowledge you on the Incas. We shall be traveling through the Inca world.
Great, let's go.
Here next to me is an Inca noble. She has some news to tell us.
Very nice to meet you. Let's hear what you've got to say.
Well, as you can see, I am a nobleman to the Incas. Today I would like to tell you a little more about the Incas' expansion.
Go right ahead.
Well, as you may already know, the Inca Empire is very strong, sustained, and large. The warriors of the empire have swiftly taken many lands.
Of course, but how has this been?
Well, now that we have an empire of almost 1 million, our mind is set on the learning and intellectual expansion.
Indeed we have. The Incas' belief in being smart yet stabilized.
Yes, and I can see a wonderful outcome already starting.
Thank you very much for your time. Now we shall go visit an Inca mathematician and his family. Welcome to my home. Meet my wife and child.
Nice to meet you. Now first, tell me about your math work.
Yes, the Incas have one of the most advanced math systems in the world we know today. The math that we do uses a series of knots and ties to record the math and numbers.
How does this math work for your life?
Unlike most other empires, the Incas created a universal math system before a universal language system. The Incas are one of the first people to use the digit 0. Now, if you would like, please enjoy the company of my family.
Welcome to my home. May I get you?
No, thank you. So does your husband do anything else besides math?
Yeah, my dad works at his brother's farm. He takes carefully constructed roads up the mountains to the land.
Indeed, the roads are one of the most accomplished tasks the Incas have built for the mountains.
You're a young one of the Incas. How do you like the expansion of learning?
Very much. I am able to live a healthy, strong life while having everyone around me be educated and taught.
Anything else you want to?
Anything else you want to add?
No.
That is all for today. Thank you. Have a great evening.
That is all for today on Inca News. Come back tomorrow for some more.
Wow, do you know what's really cool about what we learned today?
How the Inca civilization could expand their land while intellectually expanding their mind. Their land was advanced while sustained.
Weren't the Incas just great?
Not like the Spaniards or the Aztecs at all.